What up, y'all? I'm gonna stop the music because I don't know how long I can play it without it being cut off, but I can still hear it. Y'all know I like my song One Legged. That's my new song right now. This one might be a little heavy on the whisper side, as I feel it. So I'm gonna try to keep it light. I had to adjust the camera so y'all can see the love. I added a little butterfly. I had the butterfly in my earrings yesterday. I got my 2 unks on today as I process what I'm finna share in my vulnerability, because from the upload I did yesterday, I'm calling it upload because I'm still on my 44-day fast of not posting, no social media. And YouTube is my trial for the funnel. So, you know, I've been watching people's podcasts and things like that and taking notes and getting feedback from the controlled 22 people that I chose to give me feedback. And out of the 22, only 2 have been active giving me feedback. And I've been utilizing those feedback to make changes and uploads to continue to test the funnel as the journal is being developed. I'm having a hot flash right now, so that's what the fan is about. And yesterday, Whisper, as I got feedback from that upload, I was faced with exposure and having to process the exposure of my discretion in my marriage while separated, mind you. I don't know. I don't want to share the details because I don't want to make it about that. I just like to share where my whispers come from. But I was faced with an exposure from a trusted friend immediately after the upload, when I asked for feedback and shared the upload, the YouTube video. So immediately from the content that I posted, I had to realize I put myself in a position to be exposed, as that's what happened. Not directly, but it happened indirectly, because I was faced with, do I admit it or stay silent about it? Because as it was said to me, the time frame didn't match, and what was said was not quite what it was or how it happened. And it was supposed to be kept between, you know, within the marriage. So the fact that it was being said to me outside the marriage, it threw me off. And I didn't realize it until I reflected back and went back through the conversation and started kind of piecing things together. And then, you know, I found the pattern within within my 17 years of marriage, how and why it was shared outside the marriage. And, you know, when your mind starts going and suspicion starts happening, that's where this whisper is coming from. And that's all I'm going to say about my personal details on that. But I share that to because as I think of running for president, you know, when you put yourself in the limelight and, you know, you get interviews and you start being on podcast shows and stuff like I was talking about with Dr., you know, Shan Bryan, or I'm still using the word doctor because she feels she's a doctor. I don't feel people can take that away from her. She had to explain why she felt she needed the need to put that in front of her. So I'm going to give her the credit and still call her Dr. Shan Bryan. I'm not going to take that away from her just because people researched it and, you know, she can't find whatever. You know, Trump did that with Obama, that he's not a United States citizen or something, you know. So when people get that detailed about you, you know, that's like somebody trying to prove I'm not an EA. Like, what? Like, why do you care? I'm not going to put EA after my name if I'm not an EA, knowing that you can verify that. So if you stuck on whether I'm an EA or not, or active EA or not, you go check that out and you let me know. Okay? Because all I know is I'm an EA. I'm a certified tax coach. I'm a life mastery consultant. I'm a certified dream builder. I got all them titles. And if you want to go verify all that, go ahead. With the people that gave me the titles. But just because I use them or don't use them doesn't mean that I didn't experience it like that or have the licenses. Like my certified tax coach, I can't call myself a certified tax coach in the moment because I'm not paying the membership fee to use the title. And I'm like, but I paid you for the title. What you mean I got to continue paying you to use the title? Like, that happened to me at Dream Builder Live in January when I went. Everybody had lanyards and I'm a lifetime member, but because I ain't paying them for more courses and monthly and annual stuff, they didn't give me my lifetime lanyard. I left. I'm like, what? But I took a flight. I got to pay for hotels to come to the event. That's participation. So what do you mean? So then they said, well, you making it about a lanyard. Nah, I'm not making it about a lanyard. I'm making it about I'm a lifetime member. And I should be, if you got other people with a lifetime lanyard member, I'm a lifetime member. Why I don't have a lanyard? You got me as platinum. I noticed the difference. I'm going to stand on that difference because you made it about the lanyards in the participation sense. I get emotional about that one too because I feel like I got kicked out of that event, but I left because then I felt kicked out. Then I was asked to stay and I was like, no, it's too late. Because you keep saying it's about a lanyard and it's not about a lanyard. It's about the principle of you said I'm a lifetime member and you're not honoring that. Because a technicality in the contract saying that because I haven't bought courses and what? You didn't tell me that when I gave you the $25,000 to be a lifetime member. Because that's what I paid, $25,000 to be a lifetime member. And people don't judge me on spending $25,000 to be part of a program because look at where I am. It led me to run for president, but they didn't want to recognize that. So, hey, it's up to me to recognize it. Anyways, I told you this was going to be an emotional one. I feel like my head is being cut off. I'm going to have to, because I'm trying to show the shirt and look at I want y'all to, they go Bob Marley. This combination, I'm going to court tomorrow because tomorrow is my case when I got tasered 3 times for saying no to a cop. So I'm going in this outfit because for the point of you gotta fight for your rights. Anyways, let me get back on course. Y'all know I be going off course. So, I'm going to be reading to follow my script. I like to give y'all the background of where my whispers come from. And this is where this whisper is coming from. I had to turn the AC off, so I'm hot. And I got this big light right here so I can have lighting while I talk. So, anywho's. All right. It's 12:12 on the clock. I like to point out things like that. May 25th. Yesterday I was sniffling. Today I'm good. But I didn't want to blow my nose while recording. So I was just dealing with the sniffling. I made sure I blew my nose so I can relieve the sniffling while I'm talking. Anyways, the title of this is Sometimes Silence is Love Too. Because another thing that I would share personally is that I had to make a conscious love distance boundary decision to not attend my daughter's graduation, which is tomorrow. It so happens I also got to be in court tomorrow at the same time to meet with my public defender. I did submit an order to dismiss, but the case is not dismissed yet. So I got to watch. I made a conscious decision for other reasons that I'm not going to get into for the people that are involved, that, I don't have to be there to show my love. And I can watch it online, and I can still attend, my appointment with the public defender and preserve, everything involved in those details. But anyways, sometimes silence is love too. And remember, I keep my glasses on and I read my script from the phone to stay on task. And I'm going to try to periodically do this so you can see the eyes. And here go the full, I don't know if you can see the full look today, but I got the earrings, the feathers, the crown, and little these are little butterflies that I added to my dreads or locks or whatever you call these. And my backgrounds that I like to use to distract. Not to distract, to share things that are important to me and build my background as opportunities. Because when I watch other people's podcast shows, I notice that they got their books, advertising books and other people's trinkets in the background, and I'm always catching stuff like that. So I've learned to do the same. I'm getting hot again. And if you look around me, I got a lot of stuff around me. I got a puzzle thing. I got fans. I got my Peloton. I got my butterfly. I got a lot of stuff around here that makes me feel homey. Give me a minute, because I'm hot. Y'all can take a deep breath with me and exhale. I can feel this is going to be heavy because it was heavy when I wrote it. Anyway, sometimes silence is love too. You ever notice how people think distance always means you don't love them anymore? Or that you abandon them? While honoring a boundary they set. That's what be killing me. You set the boundary, and then you feeling some kind of way about the boundary. Or I set a boundary, and you feeling some kind of way because I set a boundary based on what's happening. Or this word I deleted from my vocabulary, hate. Because God doesn't hate. It's not in his character. He is love. So I think of myself as an expression of his character through love. So if you're feeling hate, it got to be coming from you, because I deleted the word from my vocabulary. I don't try to project hate, feel hate. I don't know. I always try to find the love in any situation. I always try to find the good in the situation, and I horn in on that. I ain't saying I don't recognize the bad or the evil or the hate or whatever. But when I try to find the opposite side of it, okay, where's the love in this? Because I'm going to be that expression of it. That's how I see it and receive anytime I feel that word, or it comes up, or somebody uses it. Oh, well, then I must be the love, because I deleted it from my vocabulary. I won't say somebody hates me. If I feel it, though, because it's said to me, you hate me, nah, that ain't coming from me. Immediately. I'm the opposite side of that, because I express in love. I ain't saying I'm perfect. I am not saying I'm perfect, because if you're feeling hate from our interaction, but you the one that pointed it out, you got to use your definition, not mine, because my definition is deleted. I'm hoping that explains where I'm coming from on that part. So if you stop showing up the same, wait, hold on, let me go back. If you stop showing up the same, stop explaining, stop proving, stop fighting to be understood, people assume, oh, she mad, she bitter, or she punishing people. At the same time, that could be true, but sometimes silence is what happens when your heart gets tired of defending its intentions. I got tired of defending my intentions in certain relationships. I get tired of defending my intentions. And that's not only in a marriage. I'm talking about in friendship, in between me and my mother, between my siblings, between friends, between just certain situations. When I get to the point where I'm tired of defending my intentions and you ain't trying to get to my intentions, I be realizing sometimes lately love and access are not the same thing. That's the realization I come to, that love and access are not the same thing. Just because I remove access don't mean I don't love you. Love is still there. I just removed the access in the way that you're used to seeing it. But the love is still present in me. Whether you feel it or not because the access was removed, that's on you. So you can still love someone and no longer feel emotionally safe in the same way. That applies to marriages, friendship, parents, children, even people online. Sometimes trust just changes quietly. For me, trust changes quietly. Because I might not directly say it, but if you feel that pull, if you feel the distance, if you feel I'm not engaging as much, if you feel the change, the shift, it's trust that that's what it is. I change quietly. Not with a big explosion, not with betrayal. You can point out in one sentence, because just because I don't point out the betrayal in a sentence or point out the betrayal directly, or I point it out indirectly, you're gonna see it in the shift. You're gonna see it in the silence. You're gonna see it in that quiet shift in trust. Just a conversation, a feeling, a realization, a shift in how something lands in your spirit. Sometimes you feel it in your spirit. You feel the shift. And suddenly your heart says, I need to move differently now. Not from revenge, not from hate, and not from ego, from peace. And I think a lot of us spend years trying to prove ourselves to other people. Prove our loyalty, our love, our intentions, our integrity, our goodness. And one day you realize the people who truly see you usually don't require constant emotional court cases. That doesn't mean that we're perfect, because I know I'm not. But there's freedom in standing in your truth without needing to perform innocence every second. I had to ask myself, if I'm asked this question, or if I was asked this question while I ran for president, because I did radio interviews and things like that, and I had to answer some tough questions, but never, did I think of my personal side like it happened yesterday. It caught me off guard. Like, what? Wait, what? And it wasn't, and it was so innocent because I didn't catch it right away. I caught it afterwards when little details were being dropped. And I'm like, wait, what? What you mean? And I had to process the nuggets that were, being dropped, or the crumbs. I was like a little bird picking up crumbs. And I'm like, wait, I thought we were talking about this. We talking about this? Oh, snap. And I was faced with exposure. But I'm going to stand in my truth, because if it's already out there by one person, I'm going to stand in my truth. But I'm going to fix the narrative, because how you're saying it don't even, that's not how that shit went. That's not how it went. Maybe that's how it went for the person that said it to you. But let me tell you my side and how I saw it in my perspective. And because you don't get to write my history or rewrite my history, because you only got one side, and then you held it for however long. And now you bringing it up because you didn't bring it up when it was said. So to me, that right there is like, wait, what? Why? Well, why say it now? Which I get, because if you saw the video and it brought it up or reminded you of it, I get that part. I get it totally. But you don't get to write or rewrite the narrative about it without having both sides, when you only receive one side, and then you held it and did whatever you wanted in your head about it, and then indirectly say it to me instead of directly saying it to me or asking me, and then getting more information out of it. That's where I was conflicted on what just happened. Hence why we're whispering about it. But to me, there's freedom in standing in your truth without needing to perform innocent every second. I also think people underestimate how emotional safety matters. When someone feels emotionally received, they open naturally. When they feel emotionally analyzed, interpreted, tested, or quietly judged, something changes. The access changes. And the wild part is love can still be there. That's the part people don't talk about enough. Yesterday, I had the conversation that reminded me how quickly trust and perception can shift between people. Now through screening, not through war, just through interpretation, assumptions, silence, timing, the story we quietly build in our minds about one another. And it made me reflect on how often we all do this in relationships. How we observe, how we interpret, protect ourselves, pull back quietly, and sometimes never fully explaining the shift to the other person. That realization sat heavy on my heart, but it also brought clarity. This is what I got out of it after processing with the help of AI. That's a full disclosure. I had to process this with AI. Because as Wonder Woman on skates, however, not a hero, in the sense of my heart doesn't break, it does, as it repairs. And here is where my repair happened. Sometimes silence is not rejection. Sometimes silence is I choose peace over proving myself. Sometimes distance is I don't want war with you, but I can't show up the same way anymore either. And I think more men and women would understand each other if we stop assuming every boundary is set to divide. Sometimes boundaries are trying to unite, to find common ground where people are allowed to feel seen, understood, and appreciated in those moments. Some boundaries are grief, some are wisdom, and some are self-respect. Some are simply soul whispering, protect my peace right now. And that doesn't make someone different than themselves. It allows them to be themselves. When all they really desire is freedom to be who they are in that moment. Sometimes I just want to be me in that moment. I want to feel what I feel, say what I want to say, no matter how it comes out. I'm just expressing myself. Maybe that's what unites us most as humans. Not the perfection, but the freedom to be honest about where our hearts are in that moment. Because if I can't be honest about what I'm feeling or where my heart is or where my intention is in that moment, then what do you want me to do? Lie? Be fake? If I don't have the space to feel and express exactly what I'm going through or what I'm feeling with a person that I'm most vulnerable with, where I feel safe and guarded, but to be received with a boundary. Then when can I feel I got to go by myself? I got to go in the closet. Think about that for a minute. And some people can't handle it in the moment. And you have to also recognize that. But if you don't have the capacity to handle my emotions, my feelings, and you take away the emotional safeness of me being vulnerable in that moment, then what do we have? Valid question. What do we have? I want to use an example. My mom don't like when I talk about her, but I called my mom the other day and I was crying and she goes, "Why are you crying?" And I'm like, "Because I'm crying. I can't cry to my mom." can't cry without you calling me names or thinking something. I'm just crying. I'm upset. I'm crying because I'm upset about this. If you don't want to hear why I'm crying, say that. But don't ask me why I'm crying. Like I can't cry, or you don't want to hear me crying. I can feel that as a mother, but don't tell me not to cry. She said, don't cry about that. But I'm already crying about it. So all I know is to use my free will to be authentically me. Iris Margarita Rojas. And that's where it ends for me. But the freedom to be honest about where our hearts are in the moment. And all I know is to use my free will to be authentically me, as I'm doing right now. I'm going to leave you with that. Don't forget, somewhere in the bottom, pinned comments and description, my link that leads you to the journal, that leads you to the pronouns that I identify with, the pattern whisperer, to whisper. The journal comes with a 30-minute whisper session. The journal is $44. It will be completed June 3rd. That's when I will start launching and promoting it. As I continue to do my social media stuff, when I start going live again and doing all my promotional stuff, when I finish my 44-day fast. So I'm going to leave you with that, and peace out.